Welcome back to the Language Mindset. I am Clara, and welcome to episode 6 of the Daily Spark. Today, we are going to talk about something uncomfortable. We are going to talk about fighting. Not physical fighting, but emotional fighting. The arguments, the silence, the cold shoulders. We all want perfect relationships with our friends and family, but the truth is, conflict is inevitable. Let me tell you about last Friday. I had a terrible Friday evening, and it was all because of a tiny, stupid moment. I was having dinner with my sister. We were tired. It had been a long week. I was telling her about a problem I had at work. I was feeling stressed, and I just wanted her to listen. I said, "My boss is giving me so much extra work. It is so unfair." And my sister, who is a very practical person, said, "Well, Clara, maybe you should just organize your calendar better." That was it. That was the sentence. It sounds small, right? It sounds like advice. But in that moment, I didn't hear advice. I heard criticism. My brain translated her words. I heard, "It is your fault. You are disorganized. Stop complaining." I felt a sudden flash of heat in my chest. I slammed my fork down on the table. I said, "You never listen to me. You always think you are smarter than me." My sister looked shocked. She said, "I was just trying to help." I said, "Well, I don't want your help." And then, silence. The rest of the dinner was silent. The drive home was silent. The air in the car was heavy. You could cut it with a knife. This is what we call tension. Here is our first key word, tension. T-E-N-S-I-O-N. Tension is mental or emotional strain. It is that tight, uncomfortable feeling between two people when they are angry but not speaking. I went to bed that night feeling angry, lonely, and misunderstood. Have you ever felt this? Of course you have. We all have. The next morning, I woke up, and I was still angry. I replayed the conversation in my head. I thought, "She was so rude. She should apologize to me." I was being defensive. Here is our second key word, defensive. D-E-F-E-E-S-I-V-E. To be defensive means to protect yourself from criticism. Imagine a soldier holding a shield. When we feel attacked, we put up our emotional shield. My sister attacked my organization, I thought, so I put up my shield and attacked her personality. The problem with being defensive is that it makes you blind. I couldn't see my sister's intention. I could only see my own pain. I couldn't hear what she actually said. I only heard what I feared she said. Most arguments in our lives are not about facts. My sister and I weren't fighting about a calendar. We weren't fighting about my boss. We were fighting about feelings. I felt unheard. She felt attacked. And because we were both defensive, we were stuck. We were two soldiers standing on opposite sides of a wall, waiting for the other person to drop their weapon first. I spent the whole Saturday morning cleaning my apartment and having an argument in my head. Do you do this? Do you win arguments in the shower? But then I sat down to drink my tea and I tried to use the language mindset. I tried to look at the situation calmly. I asked myself, what actually happened? Fact, I complained about work. Fact, she suggested organizing my calendar. Fact, I got angry. Wait, where was the part where she said I was stupid? Where was the part where she said it was my fault? Those parts didn't exist. They were not facts. They were assumptions. Here is our third key word, assumption. ASSUMPTION. An assumption is something that you accept as true without proof. It is a story you invent in your head. I assumed she was criticizing me. Why? Because I am insecure about being disorganized. Because I was already feeling sensitive. My brain took her innocent words and painted them with my own insecurity. This is a huge realization. We do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. My sister offered a solution because that is her love language. She fixes things. I interpreted it as an attack. Here is our fourth key word, interpret. INTERPRET. To interpret means to explain the meaning of something, to translate it. She spoke fix-it language. I interpreted it as criticism language. The misunderstanding wasn't in her mouth, it was in my ear. So, I had a choice. I could stay angry, I could wait for her to call me, I could hold on to my pride, or I could fix it. To fix it, I had to do the hardest thing in the world. I had to be vulnerable. Here is our fifth key word, vulnerable. VULNERABLE. Vulnerable means willing to show your emotions or weaknesses. It means taking off the armor. It means putting down the shield. It is scary to be vulnerable, because if you drop your shield, you might get hurt. But it is the only way to connect. I picked up the phone. My hand was shaking a little bit. I called her. She answered. Her voice was cool. Hello? I took a deep breath. I didn't say, I'm sorry I yelled, but you were rude. That is a fake apology. I said, hey, I am sorry I snapped at you yesterday. I realized something. When you talked about the calendar, I felt like you were saying I'm not good at my job, and I'm feeling really insecure about work right now, so I got defensive. I know you were trying to help. I'm sorry. Silence. I waited. And then her voice changed completely. The ice melted. She said, oh, Clara, no, I didn't mean that at all. I think you are great at your job. I just hate seeing you stressed, so I wanted to fix it immediately. I'm sorry I didn't just listen. In 10 seconds, the tension vanished. The wall came down. Why did that work? It worked because I shared my perspective. Here is our sixth key word, perspective. PERSPECTIV. Perspective is a particular attitude or way of regarding something, a point of view. In an argument, usually we fight about the truth. I am right, you are wrong. But in relationships, there is no single truth. There are only two perspectives. My perspective, I felt criticized. Her perspective, she wanted to help. Both are valid. When I explained my perspective without blaming her, she could understand me. And when she explained her perspective, I could understand her. We often think that a strong relationship is one where people never fight. That is false. A strong relationship is one where people can repair the fight. It is about the reconnect. Here is our final word, a bonus word, reconnect, to connect again. The magic wasn't that we didn't argue. The magic was that we came back together with more understanding than before. Now, she knows that when I am stressed, I just need listening, not fixing. And I know that when she offers solutions, it is her way of saying, I love you. So, my friends, that is the anatomy of a misunderstanding. It starts with tension, it grows with defensiveness, it is built on assumptions, but it is healed with vulnerability. Next time you are in a conflict with a partner, a parent, a friend, or a colleague, pause, drop the shield, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this? And try to find the courage to say, I am feeling hurt because, instead of, you are mean because. Here is your challenge for this week. 1. For your English, I want you to use the word misunderstanding or assumption in a sentence in the comments. Tell me, have you ever had a funny or bad misunderstanding in English? 2. For your life, the olive branch challenge. Is there someone you have tension with right now? Maybe a small argument from last week. Be the brave one. Be the first one to reach out. You don't have to apologize if you are not wrong. Just say, hey, I didn't like how we left things. Can we talk? Be vulnerable. Connect. Thank you for listening. Relationships are hard, but they are worth it. I am Clara. This is the Language Mindset. See you in the next episode.